Welcome to Programming for Kids with Scratch 2. I'm Mike Lehman, and thanks for joining me. This series of half-hour shows uses Scratch to introduce computer programming to kids, about 5th grade and up, and curious adults too. You'll learn all about programming in Scratch in this series. It covers loop blocks, repeat, repeat until and forever, decision blocks including if and if else, procedure blocks, variables, lists, messages, events, clones, even microphone and video webcam input. I'll create many programs including games, storytelling, drawing pictures, and programs that demonstrate important programming concepts including objects, threads, and polling. This series is all about doing and shows the creation of all working programs from start to finish. Scratch is a great first programming language and can have children very quickly creating and presenting stories and creating fun animations, all while learning valuable critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, and the fundamentals of programming without any of the confusing and detailed syntax. Scratch presents programming commands as single blocks that are easily snapped together to make programs with very little typing. Don't let the ease of Scratch fool you into thinking that there's little here. Scratch programs can do a lot of things. Very little math is needed to make fun programs, and I give the very few equations that I'll use in a handful of about 50 challenges. Scratch is free and freely available from the highly regarded university MIT. With your web browser, you can create, share, and save your Scratch programs if you want to. You can also look online at literally millions of shared Scratch programs, and if you like, you can join the Scratch community. You can just sit back and watch this show, or you can go to scratch.mit.edu, click on the Try It Out icon, and have fun learning how to program too. All of these video challenge lessons and more are available at my programmingforkids.info website and at my programmingforkids.info YouTube channel. The countdown timer at the bottom of the screen shows how long until a program is first run. This show number 9 introduces string expressions, displays the range of color shades, and shows a way to use transparent color. I'll get started. For this example, I'm going to look at string expressions. Strings could be one character, like the letter X or a question mark. Strings can also be more than one character, like NO for no or CAT for cat. Strings can be compared. I'll go to operators. Use the equals. I'll type in no, lowercase no, and I'll type in capital No, NO. I click on it. I see that it's true. Uppercase and lowercase match. The case can also be mixed. If I change capital NO to capital N lowercase o, click on the expression, it's true also. Upper and lowercase letters match. Try comparing a couple strings with just one letter in them. Change the first one to B, second one to C. Is it equal? False. I'll right-click on a comparison, change it to a less than sign. Is B less than C? I'll click on it. True. B is less than C. When comparing letters and strings, Scratch uses alphabetical ordering. Try some longer strings. Cat and cat. Try equal. Is cat equal cat? True. Instead of cat, I'll use car. Does car equal cat? False. Right-click. Is car less than cat? The letter R is before the letter T, so this should be true. And is. Now I'll try all of that in a little program. I'll go to Control, get an if-else and another one. I'll need another expression. I'll copy it. Since I have a couple copies of these words, I'm going to make a couple variables and use those instead. Go to Data, make a variable. String 1, okay. Make another variable. String 2, okay. They're global, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. We'll focus on making strings. I'm going to compare the strings, string 1 and string 2. I'll drop them into the comparisons. Duplicate, duplicate. If string 1 is less than string 2, I will say less than. copy. And I'll right click, greater than. If string 1 is greater than string 2, I'll change less to greater than. Copy. If string 1 is not less than string 2, and it's not greater than string 2, it must be equal to string 2. So I'll say equals. Program's almost ready to run. I'll go to Events, green flag, and then I'll need to initialize string 1 and string 2. Go to Data, get a couple sets, change that to string 1, string 2, try car, and cat, run the program. String 1 is car, string 2 is cat, and the cat said less than. I'll change car to cat, run again, cat equals cat, good. Now I'll change string 1 to cats and run it. Cats is greater than cat, and it would be in alphabetical order. I can try a couple more strings now. Instead of cats, I'll use cat1, and I'll compare that with cat2. Green flag. Cat1 is less than cat2. Not surprising, CAT are the same. The character 1 is before character 2. I'll change the 2 to an S. I'll run that. Cat1 is less than cats. The digit characters are sorted before the letter characters are. It can be a little strange, but Scratch also handles strings with special characters in them. If string 2 is cat, and string 1 is CA question mark, I run that. CA question mark is alphabetically sorted before CAT cat. If I change question mark to a curly brace and run, CA curly brace is greater than CAT. Some special characters are before the letters, some special characters are after the letters. If you need to know how special characters are sorted, look online for the ASCII table that shows the order of all supported characters and more. Next, for strings, I'll look at the length of and letter number of strings. Go to Operators, and I'll get letter of, length of. While I'm here, I'll get join. Length of gives a count of how many characters are in a string. Length of the string world is 5, W-O-R-L-D, 5 letters. Letter 1 of the string world is W. The last letter, letter 5, is letter D. I can use length and letter on my string variables. I'll copy string 2 into both of the expressions. Length of string 2. String 2 is cat, 3 letters. So when I click on it, I'll get to number 3. If I click on this, letter 5 of string 2 doesn't exist, so Scratch will return an empty answer. I'll click on it, and I get an empty answer. If I have numbers 1, 2, or 3, I'll see some of the letters. I'll click on the 5, change it to a 1, run it. Letter C is the first letter of cat in string 2. Letter 2 will be the A, and letter 3 will be the T. And finally, the join command. Join combines the two strings to make a new string. When I click on this, I'll see hello world with a space in between. The space is there because hello has a space at the end of the word. Let me put string 1 and string 2 into join. Duplicate string 1, duplicate string 2, and I want to set string 1 and string 2. I'll get rid of this, and I'll use the initialization. Let me put the string into a say command. Looks, say. I'll change string 1 and string 2. Cat, sprite, with no spaces. When I run it, I get cat sprite together with no spaces. I go to the end of cat, add a space. Now when I run it, I have cat sprite separated by a space, CAT space, and sprite. I can use several joins together when I need to in order to make longer statements. I'll get these out of the way. Go back to operators. Get another join. Now I'd like to say the cat sprite is waiting. I'm going to need to add the in front and is waiting on the end. Put that on the end. Change hello to the space, cat space, sprite. I want to add is waiting on the end. I'll get another join. Put the first join at the beginning. I'll change world to space is waiting period. I'll drop it into the say, and I'll run it. Click on the green flag. The cat sprite is waiting. I'm finished with this example and this challenge now. I want to encourage you to use the examples and get experience using string expressions. Try playing with the different operators you've just seen. Try using joins to make some new statements. And if you want a different challenge, try writing a loop that'll display all the letters in a string variable. Or if you want to try something even more challenging, write a loop that will leave string 2 having the value of string 1, but in reverse order. So if string 1 is cat, C-A-T, string 2 should end up being T-A-C. Have fun with the challenge. This challenge displays the range of color shades. First I'll look at using the pen to draw on a stage. At an earlier challenge, I drew lines on the stage as the cat moved around. Instead of lines, this time I want to make dots of color. I can make a dot by putting the pen down, then bringing the pen back up before I move the cat sprite. I'll go to pen and get pen down and pen up. I can click on them to run them. If I move the cat, there's no dot. The pen size is too fine. I need a bigger pen size. I'll get set pen size. I'll set it to 2. Run it. Now the pen size is 2. I'll make a dot. Move the cat. It's hard to see, but there's a little dot there. I'll make the dot larger. I'll set the pen size to 10. Run it. Draw a dot. Move the cat out of the way. I have a blue dot now. I want to make the cat smaller, but not the dots. I'll go to Looks and set size to 25%. Change 100 to 25. I'll run them. Now the cat's smaller. I can change the color of the dots that I draw with Set Pen Color and Change Pen Color. I'll go to Pen. I'll get Set Pen Color. I can set the pen color to 0. I'll click on it. I'll draw a dot. I'll move the cat. I got a red dot. I can go to Block Help and find out how high the range is. I'll scroll down. The color range goes from 0 to 200. Different numbers are different colors. 70 is green, 130 is blue, 170 is magenta. I'll close this and make a few more dots. I'll try 50. Change the pen color. Draw the dot. And move the cat. I'll try 100. Change the pen color. Draw the dot. Move the cat. Change the pen color to 150. Set it. Draw the dot. Move the cat. One more time, so I get the full range to 200. Set the pen color. Draw the dot, move the cat, back to red. I can make a loop to draw the dots in a row. In the loop I want pen up and pen down, and I want to change the pen color. I'll get change pen color. I can change it by 10. Go to control to get a loop, get a repeat. I want to display the colors 0 through 200 in increments of 10. Should the loop run 20 times? 200 divided by 10 is 20. Notice that earlier I made 5 dots when going from 0 to 200 by increments of 50. Even though 200 divided by 50 is 4, not 5. 4 dots would have gotten me only up to the dark blue, not to the red. If I would use a repeat of 20, I would have an off by 1 error, also known as a fence post error. I'll go to my diagram to explain. The off by 1 error, or fence post error, is a classic error in computer programming. Here's an example. How many fence posts are needed for a 100-foot long fence with 10-foot sections? There are 10 sections, but how many posts are needed? I've numbered the posts 1 up through 11. An extra fence post is needed, so 11 fence posts are needed, not 10. This is a classic programming error with loops. Always be mindful of this for every loop you make and test your program carefully. I'll go back to Scratch now and set repeat for 21 times, not 20 times. I need to start with a pen color of 0. Move the loop down. Change 200 to 0. When I run this block of code, it'll set pen color to 0, then 21 times it'll draw a dot and change the pen color by 10. I need to move the cat, so I'll go to Motion, get Move 10 steps. I'll run it with the green flag, Events, green flag. I'll click on the green flag to run it, and I've got a rainbow of color. I can make the dots larger. I'll set the pen size to 15. Add it under the green flag. And I'll move by 15 steps so the dots aren't on top of each other. I'll move the cat to a new row area. And I'll run. Now I have a bigger rainbow. I see the range of available colors. Now I want to see the shades of the colors. I can change the shade of the current color to be drawn with Set Pen Shade and Change Pen Shade. I'll go to Pen, and I'll look at Help on Set Pen Shade. The shade has a range from 0 to 100, with 0 being near black and 100 being near white. I'll get this out of the way and copy the loop, duplicate. Instead of Change Pen Color, I want to use Change Pen Shade. I'll get rid of that. Change Pen Shade. The range only goes to 100. I'll change the shade by 5. I'll need to start with a pen shade of 0. Change 50 to 0. I'll move the cat to a new row. And the block is ready to run. I'll click on the block. And I get the range of shades for red. I want the colors to change across the stage from left to right, and the shades to change down the stage from top to bottom for each color. All of this will cover up most of the stage, so I'll clear the stage now. I'll get Clear and run it, and the stage is cleared. I'll move the cat around the upper left to make room for all the rows and columns it'll draw. I want the loop that draws different pen shades to draw down the stage, not across the stage. With the cat pointing to the right, moving 15 steps will always go to the right. But trying to point the cat around in different directions and move is going to be very cumbersome. I'll get rid of the move, go to Motion, and I'll change Y. If I change the Y by -15, That will move down the stage 15 steps. Y gets smaller as it goes down the stage and larger as it goes up the stage. I'll run the loop now. And my shades go down the stage now. That's working nicely. I'll clear it. Move the cat back up. To draw the shades for each of the colors down the stage, I'll always want to start from the same height along the top of the stage. For now I'll set the Y, but I'll make the program a little smarter later. I'll get set Y, add it to the top of the loop, and I'll set Y to 156, which is the cat's current location as it's shown over here. And now I can use this as an inner loop. The X value, which goes left to right, can be anywhere on the stage, but this will always start up at 156 and draw 21 shades down the stage. With the inner loop drawing the shades, I need the outer loop to change the pen color. I'll get Change Pen Color and the Move 15 steps. The Move 15 steps will move the cat to the right. I've already got pen down and pen up, but I will need the repeat. I can attach this with the initialization code, and it'll be good to add clear into this. Always start with a clear stage. When this program runs, it'll clear the screen, set the pen size to 15, set the size of the cat to 25%, start with a pen color of 0, and then for 21 times, it'll perform the commands inside. It'll start at the top, set the pen shade to 0, then for 21 times, it'll draw the dot, change the pen shade, and move down the stage a little bit. After drawing the 21 dots, it'll change the color by 10 and move to the right. All this will be run 21 times, and each time it is, it'll set the Y back to 156 to start, so each of the columns will be starting at 156. The program's ready to run. I'll click on the green flag, and I get the different colors and shades. This takes a little bit of time. Getting close to done. Scratch seems to be a little slow, at least on my PC. It's finished, and now for all of the colors across, I can see the variety of shades for each color, going from darker to lighter, with left to right, going through the rainbow and a little more. Earlier I mentioned a little problem about using set Y to 156. The set Y assumes the cat is at 156 when the program starts. I'll make the program a little smarter. I can save the cat's Y position when the program starts, and use the save value each time instead of assuming the cat started at 156. I'll go to Data, make a variable, my Y. I'll make it for this sprite only. OK. Now I'll save the Y position when the program starts. I'll go to Motion, scroll down, get Y position, set my Y to Y position. Instead of using 156, I'll go back to Data, use my Y. I don't want my Y spoiling the display. I'll uncheck it, move the cat up to the top, and I'll run the program. Now it's drawing all the shades again, starting from the position that I left the cat at. Going through the blues, almost finished. A bit slow, but getting there, and done. I'm finished with this challenge now. I want to encourage you to work with this example: colors, shades, double loops, and fence post errors. Be sure you understand and recognize fence post errors. They're not a problem with Scratch. They're a problem in programming that you'll see again and again, regardless of the language that you use. Try changing the program to display 26 colors across the stage from 0 to 200 instead of 21 colors across the stage. Or try changing the program so the colors change down the stage and the shades change across the stage. But above all, have fun with the challenge. This is a Pico challenge, and this is Pico. A pico is 1/1,000,000th. That's 10 to the minus 12. 12 zeros. A pico is a very small number, so this is a very short challenge. There are transparent areas around a sprite's image, such as in between the ladybug's legs. Scratch has a transparent color to make areas invisible. It erases color, like the area between the ladybug's legs. I'll show this in Scratch now. It'll be easier to see the transparent colors with the backdrop. I'll select a new backdrop, flower bed. I'll move the cat down. I want a costume that's a little more interesting than the cat's costume. New costume, animals. Scroll down. I'll get the ladybug. I'll zoom in. Notice that only the ladybug is drawn on the stage. The space between her legs is transparent, invisible. I can see the background between the ladybug's legs on the stage. I can make parts of the ladybug transparent. I can erase some of the color. The vector mode editor doesn't have an erase like the bitmap mode editor does, but both let me use the transparent color. I'll select it. Now I can draw and fill with it. I want to fill the brown areas with transparent color. I'll get fill and fill the 3 areas. Now I can see through the ladybug here and on the stage. I can make the dots disappear, fill the dots with transparent color, click on each one. The dots are gone. I'll move her on to the plants. I can see her legs outline and white eyes. White's a color too. I'll use the transparent color on the white of her eyes. Now the white of her eyes are gone. I'll recolor her legs and antennae with a transparent color. Now I have only her outline, and she hides much better on the plants. I'm finished with this Pico challenge. I encourage you to play with transparent color. Try using it on different costumes and see what fun things you can do with it. I'm glad you could join me. You can review these and all of my challenges at my programmingforkids.info website and on my programmingforkids.info YouTube channel. I encourage you to try the things you've just learned and explore the extra challenges I've suggested. I hope you can join me for the other shows. Until next time, have fun being creative.